Hello and welcome to the Daily English News program on Azərbaycan Televiziya. I'm Ilham. As part of an event in Baku dedicated to the 80th anniversary of the UN's founding, a framework document on cooperation in the field of sustainable development for 2026-2030 was signed between Azerbaijan and the United Nations. The document was signed by the Minister of Economy, Mikhail Jabbarov, and the UN Resident Coordinator in Azerbaijan, Vladanka Andreeva. It was noted that the document, which defines the strategic directions of our country's partnership with the organization over the next 5 years, reflects joint compliments to improving people's well-being. Foreign Minister Ceyhun Bayramov emphasized the important role of the UN as one of the main pillars of multilateral diplomacy. It was highlighted that Azerbaijan attached special importance to achieving the UN Sustainable Development Goals, empowering women and youth in this area, and promoting humanitarian initiatives and intercultural dialogue. At the event, the film Living Heritage was also screened. On November 8, on the occasion of the 5th anniversary of Victory Day, a military parade will be held in the capital, and preparations for it have already begun. According to the Ministry of Defense, the armed forces, including units of the Azerbaijani army, are conducting rehearsals. The mining of territories liberated from occupation continues. Last week, 143 anti-personnel mines and 83 anti-tank mines, as well as 5,498 unexploded ordnances were discovered. According to ANAMA, more than 1,644 hectares were cleared of mines and unexploded ordnance over the past week. October 27, 2020, on the 31st day of the Patriotic War, our glorious army continued to write the history of victory. 5 years ago on this day, as a result of a missile and heavy artillery shelling of Goranboy, Berda and Terter districts by the enemy, which was unable to digest the bitter taste of defeat, there were fatalities and casualties, and residential houses were severely damaged.
On the 31st day of the Patriotic War, the combat operations were mainly taking place in Khojavand, Fizuli and Gubadli directions of the front. The enemy, whose attacks were rebuffed, having suffered casualties, was forced to retreat. As a result of operations conducted by our army, the forward command post of the 18th Motor Rifle Division of the Armenian Armed Forces was destroyed. The enemy suffered heavy losses in manpower and combat equipment in different directions of the front. The war on the information front also continued. On that day, President Ilham was interviewed by Rai 1 TV channel of Italy. The enemy's armed formations were intensively targeted by rockets and heavy artillery from different directions of Goranboy and Barda districts. As a result of intensive shelling with Smerch rockets of Barda's Garayusufli village, located outside the front zone by the ruthless enemy, 5 people, including 1 child, were killed and 14 were wounded. As a result of rocket strike by the enemy, several houses were completely destroyed and residents suffered heavy losses. First Vice President Mehriban Aliyeva extended her condolences to the families of those who had been killed by the rocket attack on Barda. On that day, violating the humanitarian ceasefire regime, Armenia targeted Tartar city and several of its villages with heavy artillery strikes and Smerch rocket launcher systems. Only 13 days was separating our glorious army from the tremendous victory.
The open trial of 15 Armenian nationals who are charged with committing military crimes against Azerbaijan continued with the announcement of testimonies made during the preliminary investigation by a group of victims. The victims, who were unable to attend the hearing for valid reasons, corroborated their statements made during the preliminary investigation and requested them to be announced. In their testimonies made during the preliminary investigation, the victims stated that at the time of the invasion of our territories by Armenia, Their relatives became martyrs, that they received horrific tortures and damaged their health while they were kept in captivity as prisoners of the war and hostages and were expelled from their homes. Some victims noted that they received injuries as a result of explosions of mines which were planted during the invasion of Azerbaijani sovereign lands by Armenia. That was all for today. Thank you for watching. God stay well.